Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Joyce versus Filip Hrgovic. It's on, people. Talk about trying to cradle the potential that a fighter's shown in Joyce and Hrgovic. Still trying to keep an eye on both of these guys. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if anyone can nourish the two of these guys' careers at this point. What should have happened during COVID is Joyce should have gotten a vaccination for being a tough guy. He should have got a tough guy vaccination. Hrgovic should have got a vaccination for inactivation, right? Because Hrgovic has been inactive. He hasn't looked that great in a couple of fights he had. The one fight was a joke. He fought the Australian. Then he came and he lost to Dubois. With Joyce, he's a guy who is a good example of what happens when you just are too tough. He took too much damage. And now you see his punch resistance isn't what it once was. But that being said, Joyce and Filip Hrgovic, the fight is here, and most of us are going to tune in to see it. Now, what's crazy about this is there was a time where even myself, right, and most boxing fans felt that Joyce would walk through Deontay would walk through Anthony Joshua, would walk through everybody in the heavyweight division because it seemed like he wasn't human with that granite chin that he possessed. And there were a lot of us that were high on Filip Hrgovic, seeing that he and Joyce had some history in the amateurs. Filip Hrgovic was a big, strong guy, could fight. But Filip Hrgovic, when he lost his dad, right before he fought Li Zhang, he hasn't been the same. Inactivity, I personally think he's still grieving. But we're going to see if he's able to pull it together. Because I'll be honest with you, I think this is a fight that both can win, but I'd have to favor Filip Hrgovic here. I don't know if Joyce is going to be able to stand up to those shots of Filip Hrgovic long enough for Joyce to start to grind down the Croatian. But that being said, both of these guys, I think many people felt both of them were going to go on to be world-class fighters. The one thing world-class about Joyce was his chin. I don't think Hrgovic had ever shown us anything world-class. I think he passed the eye test, but when he got in there against a real test, you saw that it just didn't look that great. Again, when he fought Zhang, he had lost his dad. I'm surprised he even got to the fight, you know. And when he fought Dubois, again, he had grown his hair out like Manny Pacquiao, and I think he just ended up being a front runner in that fight because he just thought he could get Dubois out of there. And Dubois has proven in his last few fights that he's a guy here who smells blood, and you're not going to discourage him by binging him across 4 or 5 rounds. Continuing on, Joyce and this guy Hrgovic. This is where it could get a little interesting. Who's more skilled? See, that's the question. Who is more skilled when we're talking about Joyce and we're talking about Hrgovic? Now, Hrgovic relies a lot on his offense. He has good footwork, but Joyce, he doesn't have the skill of Hrgovic, okay? But man, the one thing Joyce is so used to relying on that I don't think he can rely on anymore is that chin of his and allowing a guy like Hrgovic to throw his shots, land cleanly, and just for those shots to bounce off of him. It's just not the case. So when I look at this, I'm just having a tough time saying that Joyce is going to do something that's going to be like so terrifying and effective after the first 5 or 6 rounds that he's going to get the win over a guy like Hrgovic. I just don't see so I just don't see it because when you think about Joe Joyce and everything that we anticipated him doing and kind of predicted that Joe Joyce would go on and do, I think that aged pretty poorly. You know what I mean? That shit soured like milk. I really don't know what the end goal is with a guy like Joyce and a guy like Hrgovic. I mean, there's so many heavyweights out there. I know this is Frank Warren just trying to kind of hold on to Joe Joyce and just keep him going because the heavyweight division is bubbling right now. But I'll be honest with you, I think Joe Joyce has reached the end of his rope. If Filip Hrgovic can pull things together, this may be an opportunity to get another win against a notable name and try to insert himself back into the heavyweight mix. Now, when I go here, let's just take a look real quick and see what we got. Because I think this is one of those, make or break situations, okay? So this is the heavyweight division. This is as of 26 Feb, so it needs to be updated. Usyk, Fury, Dubois, Parker, Caballel, AJ, Shane, Bakole, Hrgovic, Wardley, Ajagba. So you can see Joe Joyce has pretty much dropped out of here. Let me see if Joyce is ranked anywhere. Let's see. For the WBO, Joyce is not ranked. For the IBF, Joyce is not ranked. For the WBC, Joe Joyce is not ranked. And for the WBA, Joe Joyce is not ranked. So you can look here and see that, Hrgovic is still holding a position across these sanctioning bodies. At least being ranked number 8 by the ring, but that's old Frank Warren, man, being able to pull strings and get his guys fights because, Frank Warren's got the connection. Secret society in full effect, but we'll see what happens when these two get in the ring. But for those of you who are saying, where are you getting this from? Look, it's out there, man. It's already been announced. Joyce and Hrgovic, and I think the kid, the guy Adelaide is fighting somebody, but I'm just trying to see, who can Joe Joyce, if Joe Joyce beats Hrgovic, right? Can he beat a Wardley? I just don't think he beats Wardley. I mean, he's going to take shots. He's going to come forward. He's a big, strong guy. He's got an engine. But, man, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen a fighter get hit so much in his face and just not care. You're talking about Arturo Gotti was a warrior. He cared. Gotti could box. He had head movement. But he took a lot of punishment. But Joe Joyce, he just comes in and, his thing is just hit me. Even in sparring, you watch him sparring, he just gets hit in the face. He just gets hit in the face. So, again, my concern about Joe Joyce long-term is all kind of medical conditions. And, we'll just throw out the big P word, Parkinson. The man has been, he just takes too much damage. And when he fights Hrgovic, I'm telling you, Hrgovic's going to land. Anyway, senseless fight to me because I don't think Joyce is going to be able to move the needle even if he beats Hrgovic. And with Hrgovic, unless he has a fight back in Croatia, I just don't know if he moves the needle anymore. I don't think there's much of a demand to see Hrgovic unless he fights in Croatia, and I don't know how much money is in Croatia, but I just don't think it's there. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he beats Joyce, or if Joyce beats Hrgovic, maybe one of them fight Deontay Wilder. You just don't know what can happen in this heavyweight division. But what I will tell you right now is I just think Joe Joyce years ago should have got a vaccination, a tough guy vaccination, so he wouldn't be out there fighting and putting his chin out there. And Hrgovic should have got the inactivity vaccination so he could have been busier, man, as a heavyweight, because I think Hrgovic may have missed his opportunity to really get some big money fights in Saudi. I know he had 2 over there. Maybe he had more, I'm not aware of, but I know he had the 2, the Australian, and he fought Dubois. But I just think he may have missed his opportunity to really perform against Dubois, to come and get a huge payday for a few $1,000,000, because right now it looks like that whole ship is sailing. And who knows, it may end up out there in the Turkey Al Sheikh League signing some contract. But anyway, keep cool. I'm not even excited about this fight. I'm more concerned, I'll be honest, about Joyce. And again, long-term adverse health effects from taking so much damage in the ring. Anyway, y'all keep cool, man. In the breeze.